Living is burning. Plants and all kinds of animals live by burning food. What is it that makes this burning possible? Even a steel spring, after being heated, will burst into flame in a jar of oxygen. Air contains oxygen. Plants and animals get their oxygen from the air. Sugar burns in air because 1/5 of the air is oxygen. To prove this, let us take a bell jar, on which marks have been drawn dividing the space above the water into 5 parts. Now a small piece of sugar is cut from a lump and is heated. When the sugar begins to burn, it is put into the jar. First the water goes down because the air gets hot. Now the water rises in the jar up 1 division. 1/5 of the air has been used up. The gas made by the burning of sugar has been dissolved in the water. If, very carefully, so as not to let air into the jar, we remove the spoon and heat up some more sugar and then very quickly put it into the jar, it goes out. It can't burn because there is no more oxygen. Let us see what changes take place when sugar is burnt. Here is a drawing of a lump of ordinary sugar cane. When this is eaten, it is changed in the body into another sugar, glucose. Glucose is made of 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen, 6 atoms of oxygen. Here is a molecule of oxygen. Six oxygen molecules are required to burn 1 sugar. Here are 2 together. Now let's set them on fire and see what happens. The result is 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water. Here is the finished equation. How can we show that burning sugar produces carbon dioxide? Now let us put into a beaker some water from the trough over which the sugar was burned. The carbon dioxide made is dissolved in it. To this water we add lime water from another beaker. It goes milky. Carbon dioxide is in the water. A boy breathing through a glass tube into another beaker of lime water also turns the lime water milky. Carbon dioxide is in the air we breathe out. Burning sugar, we know, produces heat. The boy breathes onto a thermometer. Now watch the mercury of the thermometer go up at each breath. We can prove that oxygen is essential to life. Here, a tiny plant is put into a jar open at the top. With the second one, a cover is put on the top of the jar to stop any more air from coming in. On the third one is put a cover with a small beaker full of a substance that will take all the oxygen from the air. Here they all are together. The one on the left, open at the top, grows. The middle one starts to grow all right, but the one on the right, in the air without oxygen, wilts at once. This one, with plenty of fresh air coming into the goes on growing. The middle one has used up all its oxygen and has stopped growing. The one on the right is dead. Oxygen is essential for all living things. Human beings, like plants, get their oxygen from the air. How do they manage this? Now watch this drawing. Here is pure air which should be breathed in through the nose. There it goes, down the windpipe, into the lungs, until it reaches the air pockets which make up the lungs. They are rather like hollow grapes on a hollow stalk. A closer view shows the pockets are covered over with tiny blood vessels or capillaries. The blood in these takes up oxygen from the air in the lungs and gives up some of the carbon dioxide it is carrying. The blood then goes to the heart, which is now coming on the screen. The blood from the lungs comes to the left side of the heart, right on the screen. It is richer in oxygen and poorer in carbon dioxide than when it went to the lungs. The blood now leaves the heart and goes all over the body. The cells of the body take up oxygen from it and give out carbon dioxide, which they have made from the burning up of the food material, and the blood then returns to the heart. Now it is richer in carbon dioxide and poorer in oxygen, and this is going back to the lungs. From the heart, it passes back to the lungs, where again oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is going out. See it happening again. The lungs are hung inside the chest, which is an airtight box. The air is drawn in by the expansion of the chest. Watch this boy. As his chest gets larger, air is drawn into the lungs. Imagine this bell jar is the chest. The glass represents the chest wall, of course. The diaphragm at the bottom represents the human diaphragm. The balloons open to the air are the lungs. When the diaphragm goes down, the lungs expand, and when it goes up, the air is pushed out. Air in, out. Diaphragm down, up. Watch the boy breathe and do it with him. Diaphragm down, up. In, out. In, out. To understand how we are able to do these movements, we must go below the surface of the body. Here is a skeleton. This drawing shows you the skeleton from the side and shows how many muscles are attached to the ribs. No wonder they can be lifted. Now there's the skin coming on. Now watch the boy again. Ribs go out and the diaphragm comes down. This presses on the lower part of the body and makes it bulge out. A cornet player has to blow a lot, and this develops his breathing. Now, when he tries on this apparatus, like a concertina, to see how much air he can breathe, we get astounding results. our little boy tries what he can do. Though this isn't nearly as much, it's good for his size and he's quite happy about it. Here he is again, this time with an instrument that shows how much the chest is moving. The upstroke is breathing in, the downstroke breathing out. He takes exercise. You see how much his breathing has increased. This is good because it means that fresh air is being drawn into the deepest pockets of the lungs. You've seen how exercise helps breathing. It helps all the more if it takes place out of doors, so that lots of fresh air comes into the lungs, bringing in oxygen and washing out the carbon dioxide.